Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, highly anticipated, daily created, keenly awaited daily dose of your mentally delicious brain food with another daily reminder to love life, live life, and trade it. What's going on, folks? From around the world. Hope you're all doing fantastic. So much to talk about today. It's Mentorship Monday, the third session. If you're watching this on the recording, thank you. And if you were here live, thank you as well. Thank you for your time. It truly means a lot to me, and I do cherish it. Time is the most important thing that we have, and I love investing that time with you in enriching our lives. Justin says 5 days off and your intro sound a little rusty. I know. So Falco says, it's all right, I'll get it back tomorrow. 5 full days off. Man, it was good too. Relaxed, traveled a lot, drove a lot, worked a lot, wrote a lot, did a lot of things. So many activities to be done. One of those was a plan that if I was profitable on every single one of my trades on Monday, that I would exit. And that is what happened. So we're going to talk about that today. But before I do, we'll talk about the SPY and what it did today. Now, this is a this is a gap on a weekly chart, which is big news. So I know it's been so long since our last retest gap on a weekly chart that it might be hard to remember what it did the last time that happened. But I think that we could pretty much surmise that a very similar chain of events will likely occur. Obviously, it doesn't have to. We can keep breaking it higher, but it is a retest gap on the weekly, which means we likely will retest. And here's the daily chart. So if you come to the daily chart, we did close above that really key level that I said, hey, if we don't close above this gap in the next 2 weeks, we're going down to down to here. We did. So we closed above that on Friday, which was a really nice day, and you did it with good volume. Today, you had a phenomenal gap. I mean, just a gorgeous bullish gap and go. And this is the 5-minute chart without the pre-market turned on, and it was just classic. S-curve, right into the 10, morning star reversal. I mean, that's it. That's the trade, and a few people hopped on SPY bullish. We were talking about it on Mentorship Monday, and you'll get the recordings, and you'll kind of see that a lot of traders were looking at going bullish right around this area, and felt really good to do that for those who got a chance to hop in. So that was a really good gap on SPY, just a nice little resistance clearing move. So my thought is we probably will do something similar to this, this or this. Let me try to do this again. Let me, purple candles. All right, so this gap is kind of like what we got today. Maybe we get a pullback like we got last time. Certainly possible. So that was just barely below the low. And that really would have to happen pretty much tomorrow. So entry there and stop there, and I'll pull up the hourly chart, see how that is. But really just analyzing what it would do last time, and that might become a weekly options newsletter trade. We'll see. That's going to have to wait till tomorrow, but we'll find out. And that's what I got on SPY. So here's the hourly chart, and again, it is a gap and go on the hourly, so it was a nice gap. And yeah, I can see it pulling back into here. So bullish limit buy, something like this, with a stop loss, something like that could be a certainly a good possibility for either tomorrow or Wednesday. Don't know if that'll trade will trigger. If it does trigger, don't know if it'll work. But it is a retest gap. And last time we did that on a weekly, we did trade down into the lows and then bounce. So if you're looking at playing the SPY, that's pretty much how I would. Now from here, this is also what appears to be a double bottom. So the crazy part is if you're already bullish on some trades, great. If you're not, you might have 3 or 4 days left. And then we'll trade up higher. But just like June, if you go up 7, 8, 9 Rs in the middle of June, I was in a bunch of trades as well as you all were right before the free week and did not get out of all of them. And I kind of regretted that decision. So today I did. I exited all of our swing trades, locked in a profit, a healthy profit at that. We'll talk about that in just a moment. And I think that there's a chance that we can do that again. So all I'm getting at is I think this pattern and this pattern will have some similarities. We probably do retest a little bit, trade higher, trade all the way. We could trade all the way back down to 268. Just throwing that out there. So be really cautious about taking a breakout because we're already bullish. You already should be in a lot of things bullish, or at least taking your profits off the table if you're not already, or moving up your stops. But the SPY really was a great gap today. Here's the Qs, and the Qs also was a delicious retest gap. White candle gapping up, did end up forming a double bottom, really with a close right here at 950. And yeah, just a nice move, never closed below here, so all is good. Nice S-curve right into the 50. So the Qs looking delish. Here is the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones had such a nice gap. Obviously, it was battling the 100 simple, and this one did not retest nearly as nice as the SPY did. This one took its time to gap up, formed a pennant pattern, and then eventually broke out bullish right here. That was a good move on the Dow. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of good retest gaps. Definitely a strong gap today. Very similar to the gap, I do think, back on the 4th of June. And we'll just have to see. So we gap up tomorrow. I'll be looking for a fade down. If we gap down tomorrow, depending on how far we gap, I'll eventually expect a trade higher. But it is a decent gap out there for sure. Here's the IWM, and the IWM just bounced off that 50 like a boss. So as I mentioned back on the day with the red arrow, we'll point to that in just a moment. So we talked about this day. So I was like, hey, if you don't want to buy it right off of the 50 at this time, I do think you'll get another shot at it. And that was the second shot right there. Even if you did it with a small position, or if you played on the hourly chart, you can see that there was some good signals on the hourly. I mean, here's your double bottom on the hourly chart. Boom, boom, close above the neckline. There's your retest. It's above all the averages, and now you're in profitable. So one count can change everything, but that's just really the last 3 days of July, being today, Thursday, and Friday, really were quite spectacular. So I hope a few of you were able to take advantage of those. I mean, a lot of us did, because here's the swing trades, and we closed them all today. Now, there's a good chance, and I do plan on doing some back trading today as well, but First Solar, FSLR, we got out of First Solar today at 54.05. So I posted this one in Slack. I mentioned to everybody, hey, we're up on everything. This is just what I'm doing. By no means have to do this, but it felt like a decent opportunity to lock in some profits. I actually like First Solar here, and I might be taking it again, but we are out. So we closed above the 20 EMA twice. I do have increased volume, and we were able to lock in a profit on First Solar. Mike says, is it too late to get in? Nope. And Eric says, I'm still in. Beautiful. So if you want to get in on First Solar, I think you'll have an opportunity. Here's what I would like to see personally. It's going to be a stop limit play with a break above this wick right here. That's been a big wick on the daily. So June 7th. It's the high of that candle. I'd like a break above there. And I can get back in on First Solar. We just have to kind of start planning it now. So 55.15 would be the stop. And then the limit would just be a pullback to that resistance. So pull back to pretty much where we are today, 54.66. 54.66, and the stop loss would pretty much be right about here at this point. We'll just make it 50.66. And that'll be my plan on getting back in on First Solar. But again, I thought about it over the last 2 days. I was like, man, if I'm in this trade, if I'm in a bunch of trades bullish, I need to lock in some profits. So I did this morning. So again, for those of you who are still in, I still like it. That was just my plan. I had to follow it because I didn't do it in June, and I did not want to miss out on that. So First Solar, watch for a little bit of a pop and then a retest and then a continuation. Again, weekly chart, a little bit of a bounce off the 200 simple on a weekly. Angela, high five to you for selling some puts down there, making some money on that. And that's pretty much it. So that was one of our swing trades. Now, if it was only one, I would have stayed in, but it was 5. So here's Hasbro, HAS, and remember this one, we set this one up on the 2nd of July, right before our break on Monday. So you had a retest gap, white candle gapped up, it retested, bounced beautifully off the 200, and we said, okay, let's get in. We got in, got out today, 96.11. So again, missed out on a little bit of upside. Here's the 5-minute trade, or 5-minute chart on Hasbro, and got out, again, pretty much at open. So I missed out on some decent moves, but that's okay. That's totally fine. Again, followed my plan, but it was a good trade. That was 1.5 hours. So I think that there's certainly a possibility that we can get back in on Hasbro. So we'll put that up, we'll set that up, and we'll come back and look at Hasbro, I don't know, on Thursday. But I'm out 96.11. That was a really good trade. Congrats for those who took that one. Just classic. Everything shaped up very nicely. Again, if you want to go back and look at that analysis on HAS, I mean, really it all started with this gap right here, the 29th of June. I just really like that gap up. Small, cute gap above this resistance. All right, so here's the resistance right here. Just a cute gap above that. Broke above this resistance right here. Close above it, and then the very next day, you got a bullish candle. Pretty much an engulfing bullish candle. 2 pennies away from a tweezer bottom. So, yeah, you know, the trend was bullish. Very nice trade on Hasbro. Dr. Falconium says your timing on all those swings was awesome. Thanks, man. I'll say this. It was better than my day trades today. That is for sure. It was better on my day trades. So that was Hasbro. And then Celgene was a no-brainer. You had to take Celgene. Everyone had, I mean, this was the best trade I've seen in a long, long time. I mean, this, if you're talking about confirmation, I don't use the term confirmation anymore. At least I try not to, but this one was just impeccable. The best trade I've seen in a long time, and it was a really good move. So it obviously broke out Thursday. Gap and go, Bollinger Band squeeze off the 100 on a monthly chart. I mean, look at this. Sorry, that's a weekly. Look at this monthly. This was comical. High wave candle. Right? I mean, beautiful. So I was like, yeah, you got to take that trade. So we did. Got in, got out today. This one, though, you're going to want to continue to keep your eyes on, and we will. We're going to look at it again tomorrow in the next 2 to 3 days. Because if Celgene breaks out that 100 on the daily, she's going to move. So that's going to be its biggest resistance. Feel free to watch it for a day trade, though. There will be some opportunities, I feel like, to make a little bit of money on a day trade, a little bit of a pullback. This is a wave 3 on the hourly. All right, so here's your wave 3 pattern. So we'll continue a little bit higher. You got a 1, 2, 3. I'm hoping for a 4, 5. So we're going to keep our eyes on that, but that was money. So I did give Melanie her freaking trader point for finding that gap. And the cool news is I got really exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. This is exciting to me, at least. My uncle's son, which is my cousin. So my uncle's son, I was meeting, he's older than I am. So my sister's brother, right, so my uncle, his son, Trevor, was at the family reunion this Saturday and walks up to me and goes, hey, man, I got a confession. I was like, what? Well, so let me actually, sorry. We played baseball together. So we were playing baseball. It was like a family, baseball thing. And he played really 2 good innings. And I was like, hey, man, you're in great shape, dude. Keep it up. what's your secret? You know what he said to me? He goes, oh man, I did a bunch of burpees back in May. And I was like, that's so funny. No way. Because I had this thing where I did this blah, 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 you know, the health and wellness for my company. He goes, yeah, dude. So I haven't told you yet, but my dad told me to watch all of your videos because you made him a lot of money on Lumber Liquidators a few years ago. And he told me to watch your videos. And so I have been. And so he's been watching Real Life Trading religiously since, I think he said January. And he did the burpees. He's in really good shape, looks great. And anyway, I don't know what the number 2 is. That's 2 innings. So we're going to have a new Real Life Trader pretty soon. He said he's watched like every video possible multiple times. He's already read 7 trading books cover to cover. And that guy was asking some great questions. So it felt really good to have a trader in the family who I was unaware of. This is on my mom's side, so it doesn't have the same last name as me, but it's irrelevant, right? So my mom's nephew, my cousin, very close. Yeah, he's going to be a trader. He'll be in the trading room soon. So no, he hasn't joined. He hasn't joined yet. He is a more of a cautious person. His wife is the exact opposite. But he said he wants to join the room. His exact questions were, I was like, come on, dude, you gotta be in the room with us. His exact statement was, I will join very soon, especially when I can give good trades to the community. That's what I want. I want to be able to give good trades. And I brought this trade up to him. So Melanie, I'm just telling your story. I was brought this trade up because I was like, the more people that you have together, the better we will actually trade, because you're going to have all these people, you're going to have all these people coming up with ideas and looking at trades, and you can filter through all of them, right? It's not like you have to take every single trade. I mention that all the time. I was like, you don't have to take every single trade, but there will come a trade like this one, even though we won small on it. It was a trade that I would have taken with any amount of money. I have zero fear on every trade that I take. You have to have the exact same approach, but I loved everything about it. And even though I didn't think it was going to work, I still had to trade it, and it worked out very well. So you'll be hearing more from Trevor soon, I'm sure, and we'll be chatting with him. But Melanie, thanks for Celgene. A lot of traders made some really good money on that one. I know Robert going this one long term. We're going to come back to this one tomorrow and see if we can buy the dip. But thanks for the kind words for all those throwing in chat. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's going to be super exciting. Then the other one. So the other one we did was Walgreens Boots Alliance. And Walgreens Boots was also a bounce off of a 100 simple on a monthly chart, which is super rare. And we set this one up on the hourly chart. And we did that. We set this trade up on this day on the 2nd of July. So it broke above, right? So that was the stop. The limit was 60.72. So we got filled by 7 cents right here. The low of that candle was 60.65. So we got so close not getting triggered into that trade, but we did get triggered in, and then I sold it today for a nice gain on Walgreens Boots Alliance. So that was another winner, which we still might end up trading, by the way. I'd really like this thing to pull back some, but I am out of this trade. If you're still in, that's absolutely fine. Walgreens Boots, I think will pull back at some point, but will be a spectacular, potentially really good longer term play as well. And then obviously the weekly options newsletter was a very small gain, but it was a gain nonetheless. Almost exactly before this one started free falling, here's the 5-minute chart on gold. I got out of this one. This was the last one I was getting out because I had to send out an email to everyone before I could exit this one. So we got out right here. If I didn't have to send the email to everyone, I would have gotten out right there. Which would only would only made additional like $18. It wasn't that big of a deal. But anyway, got out the gold. If you're still in the gold option, the weekly options newsletter, that's absolutely fine. I understand it. I get it. It makes sense to me. The only reason I exited is because I had planned on it and had to follow my plan, right? So if you are in, you're down, but a little bit. Today had to be a good sign. I mean, it did what you wanted it to do. It did gap up into the money. Here's the daily chart, and it did make a higher high and a higher low. We very well might play that again. This is the weekly chart. So for me to play gold again, which is certainly possible, I'm going to look at that on Wednesday. And we're going to have a busy week. And if gold, I don't know where the gold's at. If gold does something like this, I'll get in again. So if we trade down and kind of morning star a little bit, I'm going to give that one or two more days, but I do like gold higher, and I did get out. So I'll see if it comes down a little bit lower and we can get into that trade again. Sure, so what's your win-loss ratio on the weekly options newsletter? 50%. Mike says, still in First Solar and CLG. We'll likely get out First Solar tomorrow. We're going to hold CLG for a while, see what happens. All right, sounds good. James says, the myth I've heard for decades is a lone wolf. It's a lone wolf business trading. That's garbage. Yeah, man. I mean, it can feel like one, James, but you're absolutely right. It's not. There's tons of communities out there, and we just happen to be the best one. So, all right. So that's the review. I forgot one. I did buy to close this SPY put sale. So this is one of the other updates. I did buy to close the SPY put sale. We sold that one on the 2nd of July. So that gap down, and bought this one back today and captured a decent amount of, 63% or so. So sold that one. So we did update that on the credit spread current month journal on the SPY. So bought it back for 44 cents, capturing almost $1. So as of right now, I'll go over just the trades that we're in again together because a lot of these expire very soon. Seagate Technology, this is the daily chart. There's a lot of traders in this one. $50 put sale, we got into that forever ago. That'll expire worthless next week unless something erroneously radical happens. IQ, so tons of traders are in IQ put sales. A whole heap ton. And I think that's a great position to be in. So that's one of my favorite trades, I would say. Put sales I've done in most recent weeks is this $20 put sale down here. Some did 25, some did 22.50. So the 50 EMA should hold up IQ for the next week or two. We'll chop around here for a while, but it should be all right. Micron Technology, there's about 14 million traders in this one. It's an exaggeration. There's a few. A lot of traders in the put sale at 44. July 21st, that should be good. Stephen King has an October. Brad's got a 44 as well. So that expires next week. And the only other two credit spreads I have is TLT, which is down today. That's good. That's the 125, 126. And then Google, which I didn't think was going to become a problem, and it still might not. But I don't think I'm going to wait around that long to check it out. Because we got 2 full weeks, and Google's an absolute monster, so it can do whatever it wants. It is a nice bounce off the 50. I so wanted to get into a bull put spread down here on this day. Pretty much the open. The premium was, I guess I was too overly financially zealous on that trade and didn't get in. So it's kind of lame. But this is a decent move on Google. I probably will hold. And if anything, I'll just buy it back at some point for a small gain. Because again, it's a 12.20. So the closer we get to expiration, the more I'm just going to increase that stop loss. I don't really want to unravel on Google if I can avoid it. 12.20, 12.30 for July. I could buy back. That's $1.85 and $1.25. Yeah, there's still some premium on the bones. So I'm going to try to wait that one out on Google. It might get very, very close, unfortunately. But I'll exit it out if I need to. But I think I got 2 whole weeks left. Should be good. So that's really the update on the swing trades. Any questions, concerns? I do have some other stocks I want to look at today, and then I did want to do some back trading as well. So let's go look at the ones I had on the list as like must look at. Other than those, so Edenbridge, E&B, keep this one on your list. I certainly am. It's an energy stock. We have it on the list for Wednesday. I'm looking at playing this retest gap in some form or fashion. I mean, if we break out, I'll go bullish, or if we retrace, I'll go bullish. It's not an official trade yet, but keep E&B on your list as it will eventually evolve into a swing trade. SFIX. So FSIX, I said last week I was going to look at it today. It's down, but it did close above resistance. It did close. So what we're going to do is simply see if if it can pull back far enough on Stitch Fix. It might not, but it did break out. And so here's the stop. So we've been talking about this one for a while. Here's the hourly chart, and yep, that's how we're going to play it. So let's see if we can buy the dip on Stitch Fix, but that's the one that we've been looking at for the last while, waiting to see if it was going to trigger new swing trade. So this is an official swing trade. We will put it in the journal. Again, another reason why I wanted to exit out of all the trades today so I could lock in some really good gains. I'm over 6 Rs for the month, entirely thanks to today, and 24.36. And we'll set that trade up. You can do it with options or shares. I'm going to do it with shares, but I'm done with options. I think it's a good trade. It's open because it's not triggered yet. And we'll put that right there. So, Stitch Fix. Now, could it pull back a little bit less than that? Yes. I'll see if it pulls back that far. But be watching this one. Put it on your list if you don't want to trade it that exact way. AT&T did gap down today. I did make 50 bucks on AT&T on a short. It was a dividend gap. Dean has a put sale for next Friday on AT&T. So far, that one looks pretty good. David Webb, a few other traders in on this one, bullish. Here's the 5-minute. And the 5-minute chart was a really pretty one. So here's the day trade that I played on AT&T. I shorted here at a little bit above that support line, and I exited right there because I did not like the price action. It just, something felt off. That was the only early exit all day that worked out in my favor. The unfortunate part is that probably got into my brain, and I thought I could exit early on all my other trades, which only caused me to lose and not make money for the rest of the day. But the breakdown was obviously late in the afternoon right here. You can see that it traded higher above this resistance. A bunch of bulls probably hopped on there, only to get slowly crushed as it broke that, made that roll over and traded down. Didn't trade that, could have, but, well, actually, I can't. Per my rule, I could not have traded that bearish. But that's AT&T. Brian Montgomery said he's out. He got out 2 days ago when it broke that big candle. I got out when it broke that big candle 2 days ago. Gotcha. So you made a little bit of a gain. Or broke even or lost small. Good job, buddy. So that's AT&T. What's the other ones I had on the list? So I got 3 more that I wrote down I kind of had to make to look at. Shopify. Tons of people in Shopify. So Shopify did pull back and it did bounce. Kevin Stone's in this one. More traders than I can name. Bottom line, Mr. Squiggles said on this day, which is the exact high, let it dip, buy the dip. Obviously, it didn't dip exactly where I wanted it to, But I mean, as far as the drawing, we got the timing correct. So good pullback to that old resistance, new support. Tons of traders sold puts on this one. Some bought some shares. Dr. Falconium has the July 110 puts. Wow. Good job, buddy. So yeah, a lot of people did some put sales on this one and made good money. So congrats. And that's pretty much about it. July, Robert F. So the reason I want to look at that is because it is bouncing kind of nicely. And for any of those who are not in, if it can trade sideways, I'll kind of write this in here. Again, this is just my opinion. If Shopify can trade sideways 2 or 3 days and then break out, nice. So that would be like if it can go higher, that should be a decent move. I'll move this one. And ultimate target's 235. That is from a fib that I did, put a lot of time into it. Or I guessed and just randomly threw one up there. Who knows? With me, I either spent 5 minutes on it or 5 hours. Who will know other than me? But Shopify, let it trade sideways for a little bit. Again, I do like this candle. And for all those who got some put sales on this one, congrats. The other two I wanted to look at, Dropbox has quickly become one of the most popular real-life trading requested stocks. And we did lose on Dropbox the other day, or I did. A few people did. Got stopped out with this candle like an idiot. And there are some traders still in. So today you got a new white soldier, one white soldier candle off of a support, and I mean, we'll try it again. And the reason I'm doing it again, in short, is I'll show you. See that pink line? That pink line right there is the rotation that I drew that I wanted it to do. I wanted that pink line to happen. If I come in here to the hourly chart, the exact rotation on the hourly. So I drew that back on this day, back on the 28th. I can take that line and just move it. I mean, come on. That's not that bad. So I'm not saying the trade is going to work. What I am saying is I wanted that exact rotation to happen. It is happening. It's at an okay trend line. You got a good candle pattern. Maybe it bounces down there. Maybe it doesn't. But I'm more or less taking this trade to show you all that I'm not afraid to lose on a trade twice in a row. My brain is like, dude, that trade's not going to almost win. But my analysis was like, yeah, but you got to take it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. 32.37 by 30.37. Now, what if I lose on this trade? By the way, it's very possible. If I do lose on that trade, I will wait another month and then try to trade again. If I don't win on this one, I'll probably just end up doing a put sale. This is what I'll likely do on Dropbox. But I will wait until it kind of breaks that support line right there. JL says you'll switch to Google Drive. Exactly. Well, I'm already using Google Drive anyway. I use Dropbox only if I have to. I'm working on some team like, hey, you want to use Dropbox? I'm always like, no, not Dropbox. I'm not a fan. Okay, so that is the setup on Dropbox. Official new swing on DBX. Put in there right, yeah. Chiazzo, that's gorgeous. Okay, so Dropbox is done, and the last one I had to review today was Carbon Black, CLBK. And Carbon Black, ladies and gentlemen, It did not, Mr. Squiggles. It did not. So, good thing for stops, and I wonder how low carbon black will go. That part I do not know, but CBLK, you can't buy puts on it, at least not yet, at least according to Thinkorswim. So we'll come back to carbon black later in the week. You might be able to short it. Let me go check. Nope, not available to borrow anyway. So yeah, it's pretty much irrelevant. RAM, I will put HT on the list for tomorrow because that's all the time that I had scheduled for today. And then we're going to go back trade some. So CBLK, I'll just put on the list for, I don't know, next week sometime. Okay, so I want to go back trade, but I want us to kind of pick time frames. So what I'm going to do is just pick some people at random. Michael Ramsey, you're kind of new to real life trading. So Michael, pick a time frame for us. And I'm going to pick other people at random to kind of start picking the rest. Because it depends on what time frame we trade, how far we go, and what stock we look at. Sylvan says, Jeremy, spent most of my vacation week taking in many of your videos. Great job, man. I'm learning so much. Thank you. Sullivan, I just really appreciate that. Michael says, like monthly? Great question. Sorry, let me rephrase. So like the time frame on the candlestick, yeah. Monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, 15-minute, 1 minute. What candlesticks time frame do you want to trade? Not like how long you want to be in the trade. Unless you want to be in the trade for a month, and then we can definitely go back trade, you know, that type of time frame. Ooh, monthly chart. Oh, man. All right, I can back trade a monthly. Okay, so it's going to have to be on a very select few stocks. I know which one I'll choose. But now I'm going to choose my buddy Ram. So Ram, I want you to choose the stock for me. Knowing that it's a monthly chart, it has to be one that's been around for a long time, 20 years at least. 20 years at least. So you pick that company for me. Something that's been, it has some skin on the bones, some meat on the teeth. ACN, good. I've never even heard of what that is. No clue. All right. And then I'm going to have Benjamin. I want you to give me the year on ACN. What year do I start on a monthly chart? So remember, if it's a monthly, I'm going to have to go back a ways. So yeah, I'll let you sneak peek. I'm going to have to go to a monthly, and I'm just going to try to do this as quickly as I can. I'm going to go back. Obviously, I'm not just going to buy it and say, okay, let's hold on until it goes higher. I'm going to try to actively trade the monthly chart. I'm really interested to see how it forms. I haven't really back traded the monthly in a very long time. So 2007, okay. So I'm going to do the very beginning of 2007. No, what I'll do is, oh, this is going to be hard, actually, without seeing exactly what happens. Okay, well, I'll just really won't look at it. So 2007, that's perfect. So now I have no idea what happened. That's great, because it was hidden. It was down here in the price. Okay. Cool deal. So we're going to back trade the monthly. Haven't done this in a while. And again, we're going to kind of see how the candles look, and that's really what our goal is. So if you are looking at a monthly chart and you're trading only on the monthly time frame, obviously you're an investor, right? You're Warren Buffett if you're looking at a monthly technical chart. But candles are candles, and the goal is to extrapolate the sentiment of the candles and really determine and dictate what the stock is likely going to do based on the sentiment and what's happening. And the best way to do that is just start drawing your support and resistance, and then go back and read the candles. Go back and read the story just like you would read this sentence. It's the same thing, but if I wrote those words in Aramaic, nobody would know what the heck I was saying. So candlesticks are a language. They're a language of the stock market. They help you visualize sentiment. So I do love back trading. I think it's a really valuable tool, and we're not going to get a lot of gaps, but we are going to be playing with trends, and we'll kind of see how things work out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and kind of tell the story of what it's doing. So the first story is first 3 months after the IPO, what happens? People buy it, right? A bunch of newbies hop on probably. It goes from 15 to 12. People just get absolutely rampaged and they lose money. So after 4 months of it being open, 3 months after being open, no one cares about it anymore. The fourth month is very interesting because it closes above those 3 candles. So anyone who is bearish is trapped, even though it might have been hard to go bearish in 2001. But even if it is someone who sold. Now, one thing that's really fantastic, and the reason that I am a candlestick professional and I'm the best in the world at candlestick analysis, is because I have gone back and done this with the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the S&P, Caterpillar, Apple, Amazon, Google. I mean, any company that you can really think of, I've done it on a daily time frame since its inception. The really, really crazy part is you're going to see technical analysis work before technical analysis was a thing, right? Backtracking the Dow Jones in 1940 and seeing the Bollinger Band squeeze that happens before World War II breaks out is one of the most bone-chilling things you'll ever experience. But before technical analysis or before internets or before computers, candlesticks have worked since the 1400s. That's a huge thing to understand. Is it doesn't matter what you're trading. They were trading rice when the Japanese were drawing these on their walls, you know, or doing the calligraphy. I don't know how to say that word, but when the Japanese were drawing it and they were, you know, on their parchment on the paper, when they were creating these images, you could see and feel the sentiment. Calligraphy. Thank you, Brian. So ACN, what's exciting about that is it doesn't really matter that there's no one theoretically bearish, because this is 2001, so you couldn't have bought puts that early on an IPO, and you probably couldn't have shorted the stock anyway. So saying all that to say, this pattern is making new highs. So someone in the world did sell the stock. They either, let's say they bought it pre-IPO and then it traded up and then they sold. Okay, that's probably the best explanation of what actually happened. But how do you think they felt when they saw it up at 15? They just got hosed, right? They're like, whoa, no. And so they played the breakouts of that move and they really captured it. Now, what was fantastic is it trades right back down to the exact price it bounced. And again, this is before computers were really as powerful as they are now. Very, very few people were doing support and resistance in 2003. I wasn't. What was I doing in 2003? I just moved to Florida. I was 15 years old. I was probably being an idiot. Neil says I was in diapers. But it traded down into the support area, the exact same price that it bounced off of before, and it did it again. And I love this pattern. This pattern is incredible. This pattern on the monthly chart with a higher low series is just mind-boggling. The low of these two candles are the exact same. 1345 and 1345. Look at these lower shadows. You have a tweezer bottom on a monthly chart. That's not easy to do. We're talking the whole month. The only way that can happen, and we could go back and look at it later on the daily chart, but that'd be cheating. But feel free to do that on your homework if you guys want to go back and look at that and see if that happened on just 2 days or if it happened on multiple days or if it happened over the span of 2 weeks. But that's still a very fascinating event. the long lower shadows and the fact that you're making higher lows with the candle bodies, not with the wicks. But what's even better is this wick right here punched someone right in the face. Let's call that person Robert Falco on Twitter today. Right, I mean, that's where the stop was. Put the stop there and just got smacked right in the throat. Drop kicked. Ripperoni. Just got Dwayne The Rock Johnson right in the kneecap because they would have had their stop right below the lowest that it's ever been and boink, hits it and just takes off. So it really would have trapped some folks there if they did short. Now, they would have been able to short shares at that point, right? They probably would have been able to buy puts at that point. So people definitely got embarrassed. And then it only just to get their face ripped off. The challenging part about that is it had already gone from 30 to 10. From 30 to 10, 60%. It loses its value in the course of a year, 60%, and you're going to go short? Come on. Again, feel free, if anybody wants to do this research, I haven't yet, just because I haven't taken the time. I don't know of any IPO ever that has gone bankrupt or gone $0 within 2 years of its IPO. I've done just enough analysis to know that it hasn't happened frequently. And by frequently, I mean, I don't know of anyone off the top of my head. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I haven't Googled it, but I've gone back through many IPOs. They've either gotten bought out or they did what ACN did or various stocks. They end up going higher at some point. They just didn't go to zero. So anyway, all I'm getting at is when on these IPOs we're dealing with now, they're going to be great time to go bullish at some point. So we got a good bounce. We got the tweezer bottom and just starts ripping right on a monthly chart. Now, if you ever want to stay in a trade longer, remember this is a monthly time frame. So we're talking April to December. I'm no math wizard, but that's 8 months. 8 months. That's less than a year, but barely. JL says, what button on TradingView did you press to enter the back date? I clicked go to. We'll give you the date, JL. I can't do it right now, but if you press this replay mode up here at the top, it'll give you the ability to enter the date as well. Dr. Falconian says biggest IPO flops. So I will read those. There's only 8. They probably happened forever ago. We'll put this on my list. I'll get someone to read. Give me 1 second. So there's only 8 of the biggest flops. Oh yeah, webvan.com, definitely in 2000. Yep, bubbles of the late. That is blockchain 101. Webvan promised to deliver goods to consumers with a 30-minute window of their choosing, prompting them to build a multi-million-dollar warehouse and some of those popular. So it's kind of like Amazon. They burnt more than $800 million in VC and IPO funding. Late 90s, but 2001. So we're talking still 2 to 3 years. eToys, classic. So 1999, 2 years later, eToys went bankrupt as a company was unable to find their business. Add insult, Toys R Us now owns eToys.com. Oh, that's rough. Now, again, all of these were in the 2000s. Not all of them. I haven't looked at all of them yet, but that was still 2 years. We're not in a stock bubble yet. There will be some stock. There will be another stock bubble at some point, but it's going to be a while. Yeah, any of them that happen are definitely in the brand new. Right now, we're getting ICO. We're getting ICO flops. Pets.com. Commercial Super Bowl ad, which cost the company $1.2 million during its fiscal year. Pets earned revenues of $619,000, yet spent $11.8 million on advertising. Can anyone say Snapchat? 268 days after its IPO, that raised 82. Now, here's the funny thing is these are small numbers. 268 days, the company closed the door. Okay, so that was a quick one. And that's the one that I did know of. That's the weakest, one of the weakest IPOs. This has a point, I promise. Boo.com, online fashion retailer from London, 18 months from launch to bankruptcy. .com bubble. They all Sit Group. Oh yeah, they got wrecked. IPO raised over $4 billion. Was struggling to survive before being bought by Tyco.com. Tyco then decided it was time to go public, raised $4 billion. By late 2000, went bankrupt. An incredible 10-year journey for a company that was founded in 1908. Oh yeah, Zynga got hounded, but they got bought out, right? Zynga holds the dubious distinction of having the worst first-year losses. The company was valued at $7 billion after raising $1 billion, then plunged 74% in its first year, and then they got bought out. Zynga did. I forget who bought them, but yeah, they got reamed. Groupon. When was this written? Because it has Facebook on here. May 2017. Oh, sorry. Let's end this with a happy story. There you go, Newsom, not paying attention. Yeah, Groupon still is absolutely tragic. But they're still around. So, thanks for derailing the train, Dr. Falconian. But the point is, the earliest I saw on there was Pets.com with 268 days. So you're gonna have time, right? If it just absolutely starts tanking, all of those either ran up and tanked or then tanked. I'm sure for any extra homework you guys want to do, you can go print out charts of those IPOs. Let me just actually find out if I can. We might go a little long today. Candlestick chart of pets.com. I bet it's online. Has to be online. That's one candlestick chart, right? Pets.com. I wonder if this has it. I doubt it. Sock puppet. No. I bet images might have it. I'd like to own some of these as like art and put it in my house. Some of these candlestick charts. Like Enron's a gorgeous one. No. Just type in chart of pets. I'm sorry to go on this random tangent. No. This is Pet Med Express. Bender said, that's a great idea. I know an artist. Who? Are you an artist? Get at me. If you guys find me, let me know. I'll throw out some frequent trader points your way. I don't want to go too long. I could obviously find them. I don't have them right now, but JL says I suck at art. I wasn't even thinking about you. You didn't even cross my mind. That's rich. All right. So sorry, Michael. I'm just totally derailing the train today. By the way, guys, you're gonna love the video that JL and I did. He's working on. You're gonna love. It's a solid video. Okay, so back to reality. Shoot Magoot. Sorry, I went too far. Dang it! I did that on accident. I'm cheating. I'm cheating. 2007. I did right here. January. Sorry to cheat. My bad. That was an accident. Okay. We can still do the analysis. It's okay. So other than just saying, all right, we're just going to buy and hold, right? We're not going to do that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last time we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 white candles in a row. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe we have 2 more. Maybe we have 2 more days. But we can see it's in a beautiful S curve. I'm obviously looking at buying a dip. This will be one of the dips I would look to buy right here. And that's based off this previous high. And then the other dip I would like to buy would be this one right here. Those would be the 2 prices. So let's kind of go forward. So we got a doji. Oh, that's cool. So it's going to form by the week or the day. Will it form by the day? Oh, shoot. It just might do that. Wow. There you go. I haven't back traded the monthly on TradingView then. Okay. Well, it's going to take a while or longer than we would want, but that's all right. We can see how the candle is going to fluctuate. So this is cool because each candle, each time you press, you get to see what people are thinking. Right now, it's almost a tweezer top. So the speed is for me pressing play. If I press play, it'll go forward. I mean, I could go very fast with that, but I don't want to. So what's interesting is this high. If this high gets broken, we'll go higher. And if we don't, we're going to be pulling back some. All right, so there it is. It looks like we're about to pop. Now, the biggest challenge is this is a new month. I would day trade a break in here. Right? But for a swing trade, I really wouldn't. Because what I'm doing right here is oftentimes when I'm trading, I will ask, what has this stock done before? And is this stock currently doing anything it's done before? Those are kind of 2 of the same question, but I'll ask those questions to try to find a pattern because the market doesn't repeat itself exactly. I mean, sometimes it does technically, but very rarely is it exact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find this pattern and extrapolate it by using this little bar pattern that we found the other day. And I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to go to here. And then I'm going to put this pattern on this pullback right there. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Dawn was learning something new today. She's learning about the clock trends. And it is a very steep trend. Yep, it's pretty much 1 o'clock. So we will pull back. But there's going to be a little bit of a higher high left. Look at that pattern, how ridiculous that is. Ridiculous. So it's the exact same pattern. I mean, it's the exact same as this pullback. Now, the only way I knew that is because I looked at these candles and I asked the question, have we done anything like this before? And I can look back and see, yeah, there's been a time recently where we had like 9 white candles in a row in a monthly chart. So I went and found them, found the previous move down, which was right here, and just copied that pattern. And then I went out farther to figure out if I could get an idea of what's going to happen. So this says to me, this pattern says to me that we will trade a little bit higher and then chop around for a bit and eventually trade into these support levels and then bounce. So let's just see if that's what happens. Now, I will move these patterns out the way for a second because I did mention that if I was day trading, I'd be looking for a bullish trade right here, and there it is. I don't know if you guys just saw me do that, but I pressed the next button and it went up 50 cents, 59 cents. So far in the month. That's not a big move, but again, for a day trade, I mean, if you're watching it, you can always kind of get a general idea of what's going to happen. And like Square, maybe you only make half an R, but I'm telling you guys, I'd rather make half an R every day than negative anything every day. Some gains are better than no gains. Someone told me that once. So, Yeah, and a day trade, I mean, you can look at the monthly charts, you can look at these patterns and go, man, these highs are almost the exact same on 2 months in a row. So you have an inside month, which does not happen very often. A perfect inside month. I mean, I'm looking at the candles. Yeah, I mean, gosh, this pattern is identical. The last time we had an inside month was right here. That was this one. And so this is this one. So we really will go a little bit higher, and then we're going to flip out. Type in a 1 if you want to see me if I can pick the top on this. I really don't remember exactly what happened. I know I slightly cheated a little bit, but where would the top be? So I need to measure this move. I'm gonna try to pick the top. Oh boy. All right, let's have fun. This is where fibs can come in handy. I'm gonna short it right here, 39.57, and I'm gonna place my stop at 41. We'll do 40.57. So this is going to be a limit sell, just to see if it works. Now, am I losing any money by doing this? No. Will I probably learn something? And the answer is yes. Because as I back trade a stock, you begin to learn its habits, its movement, what's a good thing, what's a good thing not to do, all that good stuff. Now, if I take this pattern and move it right back, oh yeah, it's going to get close. It's going to get close to this one right here. So let's see, kind of bring this pattern back down. Let's see if this works at any point in time, see if we learn something new. Okay, there's a little bit of a higher move. All right, we're going higher, or we did go for that day. Nice little upper shadow. So there's definitely some selling up here. We can see that. Oh, brutal. So close. So close. If I was looking at a daily chart, I might have been able to sync up that pattern a little bit tighter, but realistically, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know if I would have used one of these candles down here. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. But so we got close. We got close to calling the top. Didn't quite happen. So I'll take those off the list, and then I'll move this pattern back over to here. And I'm going to go, okay, so I'm going to keep waiting. I do plan on buying a dip on this stock at some point. Oops, shoot. Let me replay this. There we go. Now, ironically enough, if this is 2008, we already kind of have an idea what's going to happen in 2008. That would be cool if it kind of pulled back in line with that trend, right? That'd be very fun. So let's do that. Let's just press play for a bit and see if we can, if that's what happens, because I know we're running a little bit short on time. Oh, it does go candle by candle, even in the play mode. Wow. Angel says, can you show us where the pattern comes from and how to use it? I mean, as far as how to use it, Angela, this is the best application I could possibly give is right now. Saying if you want to figure out what the stock's going to do, go try to find out a recent time where it did something similar. The way you find it is on TradingView. Go to, it's 2 boxes under the letter T. Normally, it'll be a long position or a short position. And you click on bars pattern. And again, the bars pattern, you just click on one candle, go to the next candle, and go from there. So really, I mean, each person's going to find a way to use that pattern. But again, what you're trying to do is figure out, okay, this stock looks like it's doing something similar to what it did previously. Let me copy that pattern and see if that'll gain me any insight. And usually it does. Someone says, newbie question, this is super cool. Do you back test in the trading room often? Yeah, I'd say at least once a month. At least once a month we will. Usually a Mentorship Monday, maybe if something is really slow. Anyway, so ACN, going to press play, because what I'm doing right now is, even on a monthly chart, this pattern tells me that we were going to make a new high, pull back, and then go higher, and then have a bigger pullback. So I want us to pull back at least into this pattern. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay, so this is the monthly chart. There's the new high. So I paused it. So what this pattern is doing is trading into this resistance right here. That's that pattern that we drew. Now what's phenomenal about this analysis is it really is following exactly the same setup as this. So if that is correct, what I'm going to do is short it again and put my stop above that high. So I'm going to just try to short halfway into this candle. I'm going to put my stop up here. Now, what I would do in this situation, and I believe I can do this, is actually go back and figure out how much an option would have been worth. Because if I'm buying this is June 2007. If I'm going against the trend like this, I really would try and buy it for a little bit of a longer time period. So I'm going to go back to June 2007 and see how much a put option on ACN would have cost. June, like halfway into June. See if Thinkorswim can go back that far. Wow, Thinkorswim, you never cease to amaze me. So if I bought, and I'm not going to just say, hey, I'm going to buy a long-term put because I know that the market probably goes down in 2008. What I would do is you could do a bear call spread. There's all kinds of manners of things you could do up here. I would not do a bear call spread personally because over here you're already at a resistance that was more or less confirmed. Right here it's still in a bullish trend. And one of my rules on credit spreads is I do not go counter trend. And from what we got from there is I won't do a bear call spread for that reason. But if I bought a longer term put, I could buy approximately, again, I'm using Thinkorswim to tell me these prices. A January 2009 $40 put, I'd be able to buy for $3.90. So a 2-year put, that's phenomenal, right? All right, so let's go next, and let's just see if this trade would have worked. The stop, the stop could be 390, meaning you have zero stop, right? So let's just say it's an absolute zero risk. Now this is really cool. You can't see the other computer that I'm using, but Thinkorswim does have a phenomenal capability of using what's called think back, where you can go back in time and see how options would have traded their value. Terabytes of data every day that they save. So this means that if I took this trade, I would have absolutely no stop, meaning I'm buying $3.90 and all is good. So let's go forward a little bit longer and just see what this trade ends up doing. All right, so we can see that it did go higher. And there is definitely some premium. Now, if you had used the stop, you would have gotten stopped out. With no stop at all, right now it's August, so we can go forward a little bit. Starting the month of August 2007, and that option right now, wow. That option's actually up. So just 2 months later, this option, at least according to Thinkorswim, I bought for $3.90 is worth $5.90. Now, with an absolute zero, I'm only up, 0.6 Rs. So not a full R yet, but that's a particular strategy. I still want to buy it on the pullback. So let's just kind of continue to see what we get, what type of volatility we get here on this move. Because this is, well, let me actually ask the question, true or false? Is this a counter trend trade? True. Yeah, it was a counter trend trade. So anytime I do take a counter trend trade, you're going to want to hold on to it very quickly. Get in and get out very quickly. Or if you're buying puts like this and you really do hope your goal is for that to go to 0 and you lose an R, you might as well hold that until your knees hurt. Because again, if you have a January 2009, that means you got a whole year and 3 months left. You might as well hold it forever. Because you never know. If you're going counter trend and you've already spent it anyway, you're either going to A, hold it until your fingers get tired, or B, you're going to sell it for a quick profit if it is counter trend. All right, so let's kind of keep going forward a little bit, and we'll start wrapping this up soon because this is certainly fun. But this pattern did help signify that we were going to be pulling back really at some point into here, and that's some really good premium starting to come in. So this is September, so one more month in the future. So one more month in the future, these options are worth, they're still positive, but they're about 460. So a lot of volatility apparently came in here in August. So September, not as much volatility. So the options are still up, but they're worth a little bit less. I am still waiting to get in to a bullish position. A lot of gaps. So let's just speed this up because really what I want to know is what happens in 2008 and where this thing pulls back. Whoa. So November, everything starts changing. November 2011, 1 month later, those options, honestly, they're still on, they're up, but not a lot. They're now at $6 and some change. So you could sell them for $6.50. So you still don't have a full 1 hour of profit. But we are coming into my buy zone based on this particular pattern. So I would try to go long here, even if it's a small piece. And what I'm going to do is, let's just say we exit this for a small profit, right? So we exit that for a small profit. I'm going to buy some trades, buy some at 32.74 with a stop here at 29.74. So $4 worth of risk. That's going to be my setup. New stop, 29.74. Okay. And let's see if that triggers because we did trade down into my trend line. Because, right, what was happening is up here, it got too steep. Once that broke down, it's come back to kind of like a normal trend. You have a very, very nice high wave candle right there. I could see this with the pattern, but obviously over months and months of time, it would have almost a perfect tweezer top on a monthly. So you know you're going to be pulling back at that price, or most likely, especially if it takes out that low. So what happened here on an intraday time frame is you're going to get some really nice movement like this, right? Probably some beautiful gaps, a gorgeous S curve, and you can back trade multiple time frames like this to kind of figure out what would happen. So if you want to do one time frame on a bigger chart and then do a second smaller time frame, so you kind of get an idea of what the daily chart's doing during that month after it's happened, you can open up a second chart and do it here as well. So that's a really good idea to just go, oh man, you know, what a phenomenal entry that would have been, or you know, whatever the case is, because I can change that to, I believe, a daily. Yep. So I can change this to a daily if you want to do multiple time frames, and you can go back in time and look at what it did during, and it'll keep your drawings too. Oh, I'm about to get stopped out. Well, actually, no. I'm about to make money, and then we're going to get stopped out. It's okay. So here's the daily time frame. Told you. So this is the daily time frame, and look at what started the whole debacle. The whole debacle, 2007 on ACN, you got yourself the king of patterns, a one black crow at an all-time high, evening star reversal pattern, break below that support, it was on. You get the bearish S curve, boom. You get the gap down, boom, and you just slowly get the moves. So again, really without cheating, what we'll see here on the daily chart is this 32.74 in just a few days from now gets hit spot on and bounces off of it. So let's check it out. So let's go back over here to the monthly chart and just press play for a little bit. And there it is. There's the tag. 32.74, we're in. We're in. And again, on a monthly chart, I mean, if you're trading something on the monthly, your biggest question is, how many months do I hold? Right? So something like this, that particular trade right there, I mean, depending on your investment size, depending on what you did, that's a 3R stop with a 6R move. That's 2 Rs. So $3 stop, $6 move, you have 2 Rs on ACN. Now, obviously, we all know 2008 happened. We all know what happens on ACN. One of my goals very soon is to create one of the most prolific option classes on the internet. It's going to be called Hedging with Options. I just don't know exactly what platform to put on yet, if it's YouTube or if I just do it for real life traders or what I end up doing, but I don't know, we'll see. I'm still just trying to battle with that. But anyway, I'll teach you about hedging with options and how you can protect these longer term positions. Because again, even though I know 2008 came and we know what ACN ends up doing, my plan is always, if I'm going to get into something longer term and I go up on it, something like this, I mean, what's the downside to getting into a nice covered call up here that pays for a protective put? So a nice covered call and then buying or having a protective put trigger if we break below this white candle, this cost basis. So I would be in the money, I would do a covered call, and I would have a protective put trigger at 34.74. And I'd have to do, in order for this to pay out, I'd have to do the covered call like January 2009 or something, maybe even later. So what is this? This is April 2008. So I can go into April into Thinkorswim on my other computer, and I'll tell you what options you had available. So you had January 2010. So you had January 2010 if you wanted to, covered call up here, which would easily protect the put. If you want to be in an investment, and then you have this protective put trigger, and then you go, okay, you're in a risk-free trade at this point. You can't lose money. Can't lose money on this trade because we bought down here at the red line at 32, so you got a protective put trigger at 35. So again, if we press play, what's really exciting on ACN is there's again the nice move higher, beautiful pennant pattern. We're hanging on the trend. If this trend breaks, we'll know that 2008 is here. Once this trend breaks right here, this very, very good bullish candle. So notice, question, ladies and gentlemen, has the protective put triggered? Yes or no? No, it wouldn't have triggered because it never got down to 34. So if I was in shares, all I did was rent out my shares with a covered call. I could now increase my trigger for a protective put to 37.79, and now I really can't lose money. So if ACN breaks that protective put trigger, then we'll buy some puts. Now we're in some puts, and there's 2008. Now what's super cool about 2008 is you have this major trend line that still acts as a support. So I can almost draw you what ACN is going to do. This is a double top. It's likely going to chop around, come back down, and then bounce. Something like that. Now, with these protective puts that you've purchased, what oftentimes you could do is you'll sell those protective puts for a profit and then buy more shares of ACN, or just exercise your option to sell those puts, right? Literally exercise the option, sell your shares at the strike price that you selected, and buy back in lower because you're getting back to its primary trend level. You're getting back to its trend, its support. If I keep pressing play, you'll see that kind of double bottom will start to slowly come in, All right, so here's kind of that secondary move. Here's the buying pressure. There's the double bottom starting to form right there, and we're coming back down. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, is that sick or what? I mean, that is the rotation that it did. It traded down, traded higher, rotated back down, and we're at that support. Ladies and gentlemen, there's going to be one place you want to be in during a bear market, and that's right here in real life trading. I got you. I've traded every bear market that I can get my hands on. I'm ready for it. We're a ways away, but when it happens, and it's around the corner, when we're going to get a nice corrective pullback, not a bear market, but even on ACN, depending on what stock you're looking at, you never got into a bear market. Like ACN never really entered bearish territory. You got just never really did. I mean, so it's look at that wave rotation. Oh my goodness! Look at that beautiful curve. Boop. And again, so right down to a support. So with that protective put, you got to make your decision what you're about to do. And January 2010 is going to expire worthless. There's January 2010 expiring worthless, just like we wanted it. And now we still have our shares. We got our dividends. We can turn around and do another covered call. Did I know January was going to expire worthless? I had an idea. And then we could do it again, right? If we have shares, I'll take the protective put. I'll put it right there. We do covered calls around 50. We sell them out for another year, and we get and sell into another position where we can't lose. But even then, all of this analysis that we're doing was still over the course of 3 years. 3 years. That's a long time. But if you want to accumulate your position, if you want to become truly wealthy, you will have to begin to accumulate shares. You have to know how to protect them in bad markets, good markets. You have to know how to use your shares as collateral. Collateral is not the right word, but use that equity to its advantages and accumulate wealth. Type in a 1 if that was cool. Monthly back trading. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's part of Mentorship Monday. The exceptional news is, for those in the afternoon room, I also did some back trading on a 1-minute chart. Ram says, do you have a video on protective puts? I do. Type in protective puts, real life trading into YouTube. They're just put options, Ram, on a stock that you own. That's all they are. All right, folks, you're amazing. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all tomorrow. And until then, love life, live life, trade it.